Hey everybody, how you doing? Glad to have you here. My name is Keith Barker, and we just had a quiz on Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And what I did is I took that recording and then I edited it down. So if you're watching the recording of this, it's a lot quicker. Here's a quick breakdown of how it'll run. I'll introduce a question, and then I'll give you in the corner of the screen a countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and boom! And then the actual answer will appear, and then any explanations I include. The benefit of doing that is that as you're watching this video, when you see me doing that countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause it, and that'll give you as much time as you need to think about the answer, what it is, why it is, and then you can click on resume and see the answer. If you want to participate in the live quizzes, we have them every single Sunday Pacific time at 11 a.m. I'd love to have you there. All right, my friends, here we go. A Kahoot by Keith Barker, the OG of IT wireless. Here is your first question. A CapWAP tunnel is created where? All right, a CapWAP tunnel is created between a lightweight access point and a wireless LAN controller that would look something like this. If we have let's say we have a switch here, and we've got an AP off an access port there. So here's our AP, and then we have maybe a trunk and another switch and another trunk and another switch right there. And then we have the wireless LAN controller. As long as the access point can access the wireless LAN controller via IP. So these guys don't even have to be in the same VLAN. But as long as there's routing and the default gateway and everything else, there's going to be a logical tunnel that's built between the access point and the wireless LAN controller. And that logical tunnel is referred to as a CapWAP. It's just fun to say. CapWAP, CapWAP, a CapWAP tunnel. And the cool thing about that is you don't have to be physically connected from the AP into a port on the wireless LAN controller. As long as you have IP connectivity, they build a tunnel. And then as customers connect to wireless local area networks, they'll do it through the AP, and that traffic from the client will be then tunneled over to the wireless LAN controller, where it can make decisions on how to process that traffic. For example, based on what wireless LAN that customer joined, what VLAN is he going to be in? I just realized that my face is on top of that. What VLAN is that customer going to be in on the local area network? And so if he joins, wireless network 10, maybe he's on subnet 2 or VLAN 2 and so forth. So great. That's what a CapWAP tunnel is, between a lightweight access point that's being managed by a controller and the controller itself. All right, let me clear that off. Fantastic. Here's our next question. And Friendly Bison is in the lead. Way to go. I'm glad you're all here. Thank you for participating. Which access point mode best supports clients after a CapWAP tunnel fails? All right, Flex Connect is the correct answer here if we do a show media. Also, there's just a ton of support in the chats for Jose. So, Jose, you got a lot of fans rooting for you for Tuesday. Flex Connect is a really cool option as far as a mode for an AP that's being controlled by the controller. And what it allows you to do is if the controller is at a branch office, if the access point is at a branch office and there's a disruption where the access point no longer can talk to the controller, in Flex Connect mode, it can go ahead and still make routing decisions and forwarding decisions on its own for those wireless clients, even though it can't send all that traffic back to the controller via the CapWAP tunnel because it's unreachable or what have you. So the answer to that question is Flex Connect. As you progress, you'll learn things and you'll visit topics that you saw like a month or two previous, think, oh, now I get it, I better understand it. And the more repetition and the more familiarity you have with the topic, the better you'll get at it. So enjoy the journey, and I'm encouraging you to progress in your studies and skills. How is a Cisco switch configured to support lag, link aggregation, if that's being used on the wireless LAN controller? On the switch, use the mode on. So I drew out a little topology here, and I have the switch with 4 ports connected, 4 switch ports connected to the 4 physical ports on this wireless LAN controller. I'm using a little 2504 model right behind me. Let me show you where that is. It's right over there. So oh my gosh, you should have seen the celebration in the eyes of the wireless LAN controller, the 2504. I bring it out of the box like every 2 or 3 months, plug it in, and the 3750 was like, woohoo, I get to party. So I have a couple APs and a wireless LAN controller and a 3750 switch all back there. And they don't get used that much because I only pull them out when I'm doing training or reinforcing of a concept or so forth, like this. So thank you, Jose, for this video. This quiz request, because it gave me the opportunity this morning about 3 hours ago to break all those out of a box, plug them in, reconfigure them, say, oh yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. So they're all sitting there. And if we take a look back at the topology here, these 4 ports on this switch, and I'll only bring this over. There we go. So this is the interface for the 3750. And if we do something, let me put my face up here. Blah! Here I am. So if we do let's see, help me out here. How do I know that this 3750, which is in the rack, how do I know it's really connected to the wireless LAN controller? I mean, if this is in a data center far, far away, it's not right behind me, how would we find out? What can we do? Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Peter's saying, yeah, you might want to use CDP, or if LLDP is enabled, use LLDP. So we'll do a show. That's a great idea. Show CDP neighbors. Oh, yeah, sure enough, right there. I've got my wireless LAN controller, and what this says is that locally, it's on ports 201, 2, 3, and 4. That's on my 3750 switch, and the remote ports are ports 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the controller itself. So for the question, if we're doing lag, in fact, let's just make sure we are doing lag. So this is the main page for the wireless LAN controller, and if we just do this is the summary page. If we click on advanced, that takes us to like the traditional mode of looking at it. And if we go to controller, here we go. So here it says under controller, on the general tab, it says lag mode on next reboot enabled, meaning I want to do link aggregation. Think of that like ether channel. So if I have 4 ports and they're all connected to the switch, as long as one of those ports is forwarding traffic and able to trunk, for VLAN 1, the native VLAN or VLAN 10 or VLAN 20, whatever it is, I can still have functionality with the rest of the network from the wireless LAN controller. And if we go to ports, if I go to, where is that? Let's see here, management. Nope, that's not it. Controller, there we go. And we go down to ports. This is referring to the physical ports. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Boom, there we go. These are the physical ports on the wireless LAN controller. And so right now they are all enabled. And I also specified under the general tab here that I want to go ahead and use lag on next reboot. So the question is, how do we configure the switch to go ahead and support that? And the answer is, the answer to this question was, we want to go ahead, if we want to support lag on the controller, on the switch that's connected to that, we want to go ahead and say that it's on regarding ether channel, not active, not passive, not desirable, not auto, which means we're not using LACP or PAGP. We're simply specifying it's on. So we did a show run for interface, and we'll just grab this one right here. Chunk, chunk, chunk. Uh-oh. Oh, that's 206. Yeah, I'm connected on ports 1, 2, 3, and 4. I was as surprised as anybody, like, why isn't that doing ether channel? So let's go ahead and grab this one. In fact, let's hit the up arrow key. Let's do 201. There we go. So channel group 1, mode on. We are doing ether channel, but we're not using PAGP or LACP to do it, and that's appropriate for a wireless LAN controller. The other cool thing is that with wireless, I have some packet tracer labs that support wireless, and they're fantastic. There's just a couple. There are a couple little things that don't work quite right in packet tracer. So occasionally it's nice to break out the gear and actually have it function as it should, including with dynamic interfaces or logical interfaces associated with VLANs so that the customers get on the right VLAN based on the wireless LAN they're connecting to. And we had 49 people on the right answer. Great job. On the switch, we're going to use on to support lag. Soaring B, woohoo, and Epic Yak, up 20 places in one fell swoop. So the way this works is the faster you answer a question correctly, the more points you get. Again, this is a learning opportunity. It's an opportunity to, show off your stuff. It's also a great opportunity to learn and identify what you need to learn. Question 4, which QoS profile should be used for a voice over IP wireless local area network? All right, 68 people on the right answer. Platinum, that's what you should use. And that's the best possible QoS you'd want. And you know, we need quality of service, including on a wireless network, for traffic that is latency sensitive, like voice over IP. You know, if you get a voice call that sounds not really good or not acceptable, it can't be used. That makes the application, that voice application, not usable. Question 5 is double points. What are the 2 format options for pre-shared keys? I'm looking for exactly 2 answers here. All right. It is ASCII and hex. And is that true? Is it really ASCII and hex? And in the packet tracer labs, which I have, and you can find them on YouTube or on the Keith Barker. Let me just show you real quick. So the keithbarker.com, and all right. So we scroll down. This has my latest videos, but also if we scroll, they're all on YouTube, by the way. If we go down here we go. Cisco Packet Tracer Wireless LAN WC Network right there. There's one on Wireless LAN Controller, and in fact, if I just do a Control F and do a search, WLC, there's 2 of them. There's Wireless LAN Controller there, and there's another one right there. Cisco PT Packet Tracer Troubleshoot Wireless LAN Controller. If you're new to Packet Tracer, it's a winner. You definitely want to be familiar with Packet Tracer because it's a free tool, and it's available from Cisco. You go to neticad.com. You sign up for free. You download Packet Tracer. The current version is, 7 dot something or 8 dot something if it gets to that level. And then you can actually run a whole bunch of labs and practice for free. It doesn't cost anything to run these labs. So I've got a few on the Wireless LAN Controller. I just showed you a couple of them. And if you just practice with the interface, you'll know where stuff is. So for this question, which was, for pre-shared keys, we go to Wireless Local Area Networks. And then we just grab any one of these. They're all using PSKs, pre-shared keys. We'll go to Human Resources. And then we'll go to Security. And at layer 2, if we scroll down, we have PSK for pre-shared key, as opposed to 802.1x authentication. And then for the PSK format, we have ASCII and hex. And then you just put in your pre-shared key. There you go. This also has the options for, the encryption types, and also for the layer 2 security, what we can do there for layer 2 security. So I'm not going to change any of that because these are currently working. So I'm going to go ahead and just go back to wireless LANs. And let's go to our next question. Multiple select. What is the very bare bones minimum requirement to create a brand new wireless local area network on the Wireless LAN Controller? The minimum requirement, wow, a lot of people got this right. Fantastic. A profile name and an SSID. So Discord server, if you're not participating there yet, please become an active member. It is absolutely free, as is this YouTube channel. So let's take a look at creating a new wireless local area network. So I'm under Wireless LANs, create new, click on Go. Yay, Go. And I want to create a wireless LAN, and I'm going to call it, there we go, a profile name and an SSID. This is my profile name, and this is my secret Wi-Fi. All right, and then I click on apply. All right, and then if it's a secret Wi-Fi, if I want to enable it, I can there. And for the interface group, these are all virtual interfaces I've configured on the Wireless LAN Controller. So if people connect to the secret Wi-Fi, I can associate them with a logical interface, which also corresponds to a specific VLAN. So let's put them on VLAN 40 for interface 40. And because it's super secret, I'm not going to broadcast the SSID. Ooh, from a hacking perspective, that is not very secure. I mean, people can see the radio frequencies with the right tools, whether you're broadcasting your SSID or not. So I'll go ahead and broadcast it. And then for security, for layer 2 security, let's go ahead and let's use, instead of 802.1x, which is a really cool topic, come and see me in CCNP stuff at CBT Nuggets for all that. But for CCNA, we'll do pre-shared key, and there's my PSK format. I'll use ASCII, and we'll put in something like that. And it looks good. And then for layer 3, layer 3 security options, a web policy. Look at that. So I can do authentication, pass through, conditional web redirect. You know what? I'll just leave it at layer 2 for now. And I'll click on apply. All right, secret Wi-Fi. All right, let's do this. Let me go ahead and bring up a full screen there. And let's see if that works. All right, so I'm just going to bring up my phone. And on my phone, I'm going to do a, let me see if it shows up. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you can see it there. Forget it. You have to trust me on this one. So there's secret Wi-Fi. Oh, did I specify pre-shared key? I did. So I'm clicking on secret Wi-Fi, and I'm going to put in the password, the pre-shared key, if I can remember what it was. It was capital CISCO exclamation mark 23. Click on join. Now, it's also assuming that that's set up, and there's a DHCP server. It's handing out IP addresses. Not flying. It's not liking it. It didn't go for it. Let's troubleshoot. Let's troubleshoot why that is. Okay, so I said interface 40. Oh, you know what? I may not have a DHCP server there. Let's go check it out real quick. As a team effort here. Let's go back to controller and interfaces and interface 40. Oh, I don't know if I have a DHCP server set up on... Oh, look at that, 1070. Yeah, that's not even a real IP address for a DHCP server. Let me do this. Let me go back. Let me just check under interfaces, and let's go to interface 30, and that has a valid one. So 1030.0.1. Oh, 1070.0.1 is the DHCP server. Let me just make sure I have a DHCP server there. Give me one moment. Let's do that real quick. Show IP interface brief. Exclude. Unassigned. Yeah, there's no address there. All right, so let's just take a quick. I have a pool. Let's do a show run. Let me just verify I have a DHCP server for somebody, and then we'll use that VLAN. Are up here. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. We have a pool for VLAN 30. That's great. So let me just modify the wireless config real quick, and we'll make it work. That'd be great. So I'm going to say the primary DNS server is 10.30.0.1, which is, let me verify that real quick. I'm just excluding unassigned addresses so we don't have to look at all of them. 1030.0.1, yep, and we have a pool, a DHCP pool on that multi-layer switch. Great, great, great. So with this in place, I'm going to click on apply. Okay, and let's go back to our wireless local area networks, and we'll go to the secret Wi-Fi by clicking on it. And then we'll specify that we want interface 30, which is associated with VLAN 30, where I have a DHCP pool. That looks good. And for security, we already did the pre-shared key. I'll click on apply, click on OK. I'll click on save, just because if something catastrophic happened right now, we'd want to save that. And now let's test it. All right, I'll give this one more shot, and then we'll, if it doesn't work out, we'll say goodbye. Okay, secret Wi-Fi. My looks like my iPhone stored I connected. My iPhone saved the password, the pre-shared key I put in earlier. So now it says it connected. Let's go verify that real quick. Did you see the surprise on my face? Hey, it works. I think I just didn't have a pool for VLAN 40 or the right address for the DHCP server. So that 2 strikes against me for making that work. So let's go back here and let's go to monitor. Yeah, okay, and go to monitor. And active rogue clients. Oh, there we go. Top wireless local area networks. This is my profile name. Number of clients, 1 right there. Click on detail. Oh, that's for the wireless LAN itself. Let's go back one. So I've got 1 client connected, and that's the client that I currently just connected to that network. All right. So that was a fun little diversion. And let's go on to the rest of our quiz questions here. All right, so profile name and SSID, we also set it up. We set up a pre-shared key, and we made sure it worked. Also, I will tell you this, what I did in that little demonstration, I gave away the answers for 3 questions that still have not yet come up. So if you are watching that little demo, you're going to be ready for 3 additional questions to crush it. All right, here we go. Moving forward, glad you're here, having a lot of fun today. And here is the next question, question 7 of 13. What is the best reason for using a wireless LAN controller? All right, what's the best reason for using a wireless LAN controller? Perfect. Is to centrally manage multiple lightweight access points. And we had 10 people on red to manage multiple autonomous APs. The only problem with red, that answer, is that a wireless LAN controller doesn't manage autonomous APs. It manages lightweight APs. And so that was just a wording query there that trapped about 10 people. All right, great job. You guys nailed that, guys and gals. Again, thank you for joining me today. It's always good to look forward to some time together, some together time, double points. Question 8, what is desirable for large 802.11n networks? All right, non-overlapping channels and overlapping APs. What does that mean? I think it means this. Let's say we have OGIT, that's our wireless network, that's our SSID, and we have multiple access points supporting that. We'd want to have, let's say, AP1 here and AP2, and we want to make sure that the coverage from AP1 does overlap AP2, so that if a user is roaming, maybe 15% here. So if a user is roaming between access points, both these guys have cap-wap tunnels back to the controller, and so we can support layer 2 and layer 3 roaming and all that stuff. But the key is we want to have overlapping signals, so that's the overlapping AP part, but we also want to have non-overlapping channels. So that would mean, like, if we're using the 2.4 gigahertz range, we'd have the 3 non-overlapping channels in the United States are 1, 6, and 11. So maybe 1 here and 6 here, and if we have a third one, like this, maybe 11 here. And that way we could have overlapping APs for coverage, but the actual frequency ranges that they're using do not overlap. Because, if you've been in an apartment complex and you've played with Wi-Fi, you know that there's a lot of people competing for the same exact channels. So I'm in the process of creating a few videos. I think you'll like it. I've been procrastinating because I'm scared of it, really. But I'm going to create some videos for the average person who is dealing with Wi-Fi and talk about the legs of the journey. For the Wi-Fi, you have, the device, like a mobile device, to the access point. That's one leg of the journey. And then you have another little part of the journey that goes from your, router out to the internet. That's the leg of the journey. And so by teaching people some tools about how to identify where the bottleneck is, like the router comes up and it's so slow after a few minutes, is it my neighbors? Is it my channel? There's some great free tools you can use to run, and you can actually see where the frequencies are, sort by strength, and just go down the list and say, it's very similar to the techniques we'd use for official, a Wi-Fi survey, wireless survey at a company, except in your home, you're just looking for who are the strongest competitors, what channels are they on, 2.4 or, 5 gigahertz, what are they, and are my channels overlapping in part or all? In the old days, we had like 20 megahertz wide channels, like 1, 6, and 11, no overlap. But now, with the high-tech routers and Wi-Fi things we have like large or 40 or 80 meg? Yeah, 80 megahertz swaths, huge channel, so that somebody on channel 1 now does overlap with somebody at 6. So that's a problem too. So with free tools, you can see all that, and then you can just pick spots and then configure your Wi-Fi devices to go ahead and use those unused frequencies. It's like having a 5-lane highway, or if you're using 2.4 gigahertz, a 3-lane highway, and all the congestion is on lanes 6 and 11. Just train your devices to go all to 1. And then also using a narrower band. I would rather have a consistent 5 megabits per second, consistent, rock solid all the time, than a spotty 20 megabits per second. Yep. That includes for live streaming too. All right, so that's my rant on what I'm going to create for some wireless training. I want to make it effective. I got a call from my sister. My sister lives in Minneapolis, and she called me, what was it, yesterday? And she's like, yeah, my network is slow. I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to make this. I may call it the Susan series. Her name is Susan. I may create it for her and then just make it available to the world. And just step by step what you can do. You could send this video set, like maybe 4 or 5 short videos. Send it to your mom, your dad, your cousin, your brother, your coworker when they start complaining about slow Wi-Fi or slow the network's slow, or a gamer. Send them this set of 4 or 5 videos. They're going to be 5 to 6 minutes a piece, and say, watch these, and it'll give them step-by-step instructions to troubleshoot it. I think that could save a lot of people a lot of frustration. Now, if you're in New York or some other densely populated area in apartments, and there's like 4,800 Wi-Fi signals all around you, you may not be able to find a free Wi-Fi channel. However, what you can do is you can sort out which ones are the strongest, closest to you, and avoid those, and that'll give you the best chance for success as well. All right, so what is desirable? We talked about that. You've heard my little plan on some videos coming up. Amiable Hawk is number 1 right now, 13,820 points. Nice. Here we go. Question 9 of 13. We're coming to the close here. The access point must be cabled with unshielded twisted pair. That's UTP. That's like a patch cable. To a port physically on the wireless LAN controller. Is that true or is that false? The clock is running. Indeed, that is false. In the network topology that I drew out maybe less than 20 minutes ago, I showed that the switch or switches, we could connect the access point, and then there could be trunks and routers, and there just has to be IP connectivity between the access point and the wireless LAN controller. So as long as they can reach each other, they both have default gateways, and they can find each other and know where each other is, they do not have to be physically connected on the same device. So like in a small environment, you might have a wireless LAN controller that's physically connected on one of its PoE ports to an access point, but you don't have to be. And in enterprises, they're rarely ever going to be directly connected, especially if your wireless LAN controller is virtualized. You don't have to have them physically directly connected to each other. And here we go. Multiple select. Which of the following are valid access control list options on a wireless LAN controller? All right, the answer to this is all of them. All of these are ACL options on the wireless LAN controller. And if we were to take a look at the controller itself, this is my little 2504 that I have behind me in the rack with two. Look at all the rogue APs. The rogue APs are any access points that that my wireless LAN controller wasn't told about and are not under its control. These are all my, let's see here. I've got some local access points from another vendor in my office. I've got the litter robot. I'm going to make that a little bigger. It's so fun. So stinking fun. Oh my gosh. The litter robot, if you have a cat, by the way, the litter robot rocks. I've got some neighbors. I've got some other neighbors. Yeah. Anyway, these are all the access points that that my wireless LAN controller, via its access points, has discovered and identified. All right. So going back to, let's see here. There we go. So under security on the wireless LAN controller interface, we have access control lists for IPv4 and IPv6. If we clicked on add, it would give us that option. We've got CPU access control lists. We've got Flex Connect access control lists and layer 2 ACLs. I haven't configured any. If I had, they would show up here, but by default, they don't exist, but you can create all 4 types. All right, so going back, all 4 answers are correct. And, I need to answer a question. The question was, could you confirm which part of the blueprint this video applies to? And I got out my handy dandy downloaded from Cisco exam topics. So these are the just Cisco CCNA 200-301 exam topics, download from Cisco directly, and it has the 6 modules, 6 domains. So domain 1 is network fundamentals, and the wireless LAN controller is in 1.1 with controllers in general, including the wireless LAN controller. And then it also talks about in 1.3 PoE, which, a lot of wireless LAN controllers, physical ones, have power over Ethernet support. So that would apply there as far as having an access point be a powered device. Also in module 1, we've got 1.11, wireless principles, non-overlapping Wi-Fi channels, SSID, radio frequency, encryption, all of which we've taken a look at in this quiz. And that's it for module 1. And then there's 5 more modules. In module 2, it has to deal with network access, which includes trunking and 802.1q, which the wireless access point or the wireless LAN controller supports, including how to configure the switch to support Ether channel. 2.6, compare Cisco wireless architectures and AP modes. 2.7, describe physical infrastructure connections for wireless LAN components, including access points, wireless LAN controllers, access and trunk ports, and lag. And then 2.8, is describe AP and wireless management access connections, Telnet, SSH, HTTPS, HTTP. And that's just in module 2. In section 4, we have DHCP client and relay. That's 4.6. And because the wireless LAN controller is acting as a DHCP relay effectively in taking a request and making sure it gets forwarded to the DHCP server associated with that dynamic interface that's associated with the wireless local area network. Let me show you that real quick. So if we take a wireless local, let's go to the controller, and we go to interfaces. Here's these logical interfaces that have addresses assigned that are associated with VLANs. And then when we go to wireless local area networks, like this one that we just made, this is my profile name, that one. And we go to interface group, I specified it with that logical interface. And so based on that logical interface, clients who come in on that wireless network, which I did with my iPhone a moment ago, would be associated with interface VLAN 30, which is associated with VLAN 30, which then also has pointers to the DHCP server that can support VLAN 30, which doesn't have to be local. And if it isn't, it can just do it's effectively a DHCP relay function forwarding the request over to that DHCP server. All right, let's see here. Moving on, almost done here. That was DHCP from Module 4. All right, and then in Module 5, Security Fundamentals, it's in there a few times, but including 5.9 with WPA, WPA2, WPA3, and 5.10, configure, not just know about, not just describe, not just have a casual discussion about, but configure a wireless local area network using WPA2 pre-shared keys, which we've looked at a couple times here, using the GUI. And I'm implying there that the GUI on the wireless LAN controller to manage those devices, as opposed to just managing an autonomous AP via its interface. And that's it. And then Module 6 is all about automation and programmability. So in answer to the question, where does wireless fit in? I would say it's in 4 out of 6 of the domains. So good to know. The 11th question is right now, which AP mode allows centralized management? The lightweight, meaning it's going to allow a lot of the logic and control to happen at the controller, and then the lightweight can just take care of the radio frequencies and following the instructions. Question 12 of 13 is double points, and it's this. What type of encryption is used by default with WPA2, Wi-Fi Protected Access version 2, pre-shared keys, PSKs? All right, AES 256 is the default encryption used when we're doing WPA2 PSKs. There are other options, but that is the default. So AES right here, I took it off for the screenshot because I didn't want to give it away. But this screenshot was in a previous question. But AES and the 256 flavor of that is the default when we're using pre-shared keys. In answer to the question, option 43, I just Googled it, but here's a lot of people commenting on it. An access point, when it comes up, is going to be a DHCP client, and it needs to find out, hey, where's the wireless LAN controller? Also, Blendinator, thank you for that sticker. Appreciate that. And option 43 says, hey, Mr. Access Point, your controller is, option 43 says, at 10 dot whatever the address is of the controller. And that the access point says, thank you, I can use that. And then it can build its CapWAP tunnel over to the controller and phone home effectively to talk to the controller. So that's what option 43 is. Multiple select, double points, everything's on the line right here. Which are layer 2 security options for wireless local area networks? Good luck, everybody. So, Jose, for your exam on Tuesday, if you get stuck on a question, just have the Kahoot music. Dun dun da 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 dun dun da dun dun. Dun dun dun. And you may not know the right answer, but at least it'll put a smile on your face, and then you just move on. Some of the questions are going to be tough on the exam, where it's like, what do they mean by that? I have no idea. If that happens occasionally, you're great. If it happens more than 50% of the time, that's a different story. All right, WPA2 and 802.1x are absolutely the right 2 answers. Let's bring up an interface and take a look together. And I think I've got an interface. There we go. So if we go to wireless local area networks, and my hope is that everybody who's watching this, whether you're live today or watching the recording, if you're going for your CCNA, you want to grab a couple of those packet tracer labs with the wireless LAN controller and configure them, troubleshoot, because you get the interface. It's not fully functional in packet tracer, but it's functional enough so you can go through the interfaces and find out where things are. So let's take this secret Wi-Fi that we created together earlier in this stream, and let's go to security. Oh, here we go. We have separate tabs for layer 2 and layer 3. So here's layer 2, and here's our options, which I had grayed out in the image before, but we have WPA and WPA2. And then we have 802.1x. 802.1x is a great way, using a AAA server, a centralized server, to verify a user is who they say they are without having to replicate that username everywhere. You can just have it on your ICE server, and then using 802.1x and radius, using the radius tab, you can specify your AAA server. You can tell that this device where that radius server is. You can just basically say, hey, Bob's trying to log in and see a valid user. Then we have static WEP, which is just legacy. Nobody uses WEP. Wired equivalent privacy, that was like the first approach at trying to secure Wi-Fi. WEP is terrible. And then we have some other options here as well. But WPA2 and 802.1x was the two that I was looking for from that question. There we also have AES that's enabled by default with this pre-shared key that has two options for PSK format. And if we go to layer 3, oh yeah, we touched on this earlier too. So under layer 3, we have a web policy. We can say we want to do authentication or pass-through or conditional web redirect or splash page web redirect, or on Mac. I don't know what some of those are, but you know what? It's got these little footnotes, and there's also help. So you just, if you want to find out the details on every single option, go for it. There are a lot of options here. For now, I'm going to just rely on layer 2 security only with my WPA2, click on apply, and click on OK. So you know what time it is? It is time to look at the winners platform. A moment of silence. All right, Soaring Bee, you did it. You did it. Crushed it. 24,000 points. Could be a world record for something. I'm glad everybody's here. Let me share with you the 2 most difficult questions based on your answers if you're in the live event today. And they are, which are valid ACL options on the wireless LAN controller, and what is desirable for large 802.11n networks. And we had 8% correct for the ACLs and 30% correct. But you know what? It's only 2. And we had like 12 or 13 questions. A lot of times we have like 5 or 6 of the toughest questions. So I'm very pleased. You guys did great. Wireless is a big part of the CCNA. You don't have to be a wireless expert, but you do need to understand the basics of what the blueprint asks you to do. And also, I think all the questions that I asked today were related to the exam outline, to the blueprint from Cisco. And so if you had questions on them or you're not sure about them, do some research and study. Do some research. Do some planning, do some hands-on labs, and just start mastering it. Look at online docs and just be more comfortable with it. Okay, let me see. Let me go ahead. And also, let me get your feedback also. This helps me. If you could give me your feedback, I would be grateful. And let me do this. Shortly after, what time is it? I've got a commitment coming up that I need to head out for, but here's what I'd like to do. Let's take, if there's any questions you have for me that you'd like to ask right now, please feel free to do that. Just do a @KeithBarker, have that name populate, and then ask the question. That way I can find it, and it's easy for me to see. And then also, right after this live stream ends, what we'll do is we'll jump on the Discord server. There's just basically a meet and greet, a hangout, and just look for the room. It might probably be the CCNA voice channel in my Discord server. The link's in the description of this video. And we just hang out, talk about things. There's some rules. If you're new to the Discord channel server, my Discord server, just check out the rules. Make sure you're comfortable with those rules, and then party on, Wayne. Party on.
I've been waiting all my life for something. I've been down the darkest roads and up